the best that I could bring to this role, as well as what the opportunities would be for me in filling this role?
Well, I think, I think for me, the most important thing is how well you're going to fit with me. This position is basically going to be my right hand. And the person coming in has got to be somebody that I can implicitly trust and feel very confident about putting in front of our employees. Part of my coming to the company, HR used to be regarded as the place you go to get fired.
I agree. Or fix something.
And that's not the way I operate. I'm a very proactive, strategic business partner who looks at the business needs and then helps align the people to meet the company's goals and tactics. And so I want to make sure that the person I'm looking at has a high respect for people, is going to make sure that people are treated fair, with dignity and respect, and are not going to be tossed aside as peons, because that really bothers me. Quite honestly, that makes me really mad. So, I mean, I know that sounds very simplistic, but that's really as easy as it is.
And how do you feel that my particular, how would you feel in regards to my ability to fit your requirement?
Well, what I love about your background is you've been in multi-location situations. You've been centralized, you've been decentralized, you've been in different industries. You bring a nice variety of what I'd like to see for the person who I hire.
Great. Anything that you would have concerns about?
Not at this point, and I would never answer that question anyway, ever. But it's a good question to ask.
Okay. What can I expect in terms of your process? How soon are you looking to fill, and where we go from here?
Well, I wanted to fill the position last month.
Okay.
And so the position's open, it's available, and when we find the right person, we'll fill it. The interviewing process is, you gotta get by me first.
Okay.
And since the position reports to me, I think that's kind of an important piece. But also, it's very important because I'm building a team for the company. And I would have the candidates interview with all of my direct reports.
Okay.
That way you get a chance to hear directly from them at how bad or how good I am. Some of the pros and cons of working with me.
Okay.
And what their take is on the company. Because that would be your peer group. To me, I think that's a really important part. Some people don't think so, but I do. And since I'm the hiring manager, I get to do it that way.
Absolutely. I think that's an interesting approach.
So that's kind of it. I do have 3 more interviews lined up between this week and next week.
Okay.
I need to get through those, and then we'll be ready to narrow down the slate.
Okay, well, then I will definitely follow up with you and hope to hear from you by the end of 2 weeks and then in 3 weeks then.
Great. I would have given her my business card when she first came in, and so I would say...
I was about to ask you for it.
I've given you my business card. It's got my email and my cell phone numbers on it. If I don't get back to you in a time period that exhausts your patience, please feel free to get back to me. I do respond faster to email than I do voicemail.
Okay.
As you will know.
Great. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you, getting to know you, and a little bit more about the organization. And I look forward to speaking with you again real soon.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Okay, bear with us a second, Mary. I know you got to go soon, so bear with us a couple minutes. Okay, so Mary, what was your overall impression of the interview?
Well, what you don't know is what they're going to find out.
Oh.
I now know how to motivate her. I know her buzzwords. So if I've got a job to delegate to her, I know what words to use to talk to her about that job, and I could get her salivating and so excited to go do something even before I tell her what that task is. Because remember I told you this is a neurolinguistics interview. I'm learning more about her than she even understands that she's telling me. So I know how to motivate her. I know how to get her to proceed and do tasks and work. I know how she needs to receive feedback. People are either internally motivated or externally motivated. An internally motivated knows from within that they do a good job, and they set out in the world to carve their mark, and they know that they're doing okay. An external person needs to hear or receive feedback from the people around them, from the boss, from somebody, that they're doing okay or that they're doing a good job, or they want to touch base to make sure that they're still on target. Both are good. Neither are bad. But as a supervisor, I need to know so that when I'm working with Ruth, if I know that she can either go on her own and just keep going and she knows she's doing okay, I might need to course correct her, or I may know that I need to talk with her every day, or in some cases 3 times a day, to remind her, to keep her on target, to reassure her that she's doing okay. I also know that her primary focus in working at work, it's made up of 3 different components. The first component is her focus on working by herself, where she's in control or in command of the situation, working on a team, or working with others, but she's in control. That's one piece of it. The second piece is whether she's people-oriented or things-oriented. The third piece is she detail-oriented or is she big picture? So I know the answer to all 3 of those groupings. I also know her emotional response and how she's going to deal with stress in the workplace. I know if she's driven by opportunities or driven by procedures. That's really important for me if I'm hiring an accountant or a payroll person. Or any other, if I'm hiring an air traffic controller, I want a procedures person. I don't want an opportunistic. I also know how long she's going to stay on the job before she gets bored and starts to think about leaving. I know how to train her. I know how quickly she'll receive the training and how quickly she'll be able to do the tasks at hand and feel confident that she's doing them correctly. And that's really important because people learn by what they see or by what they hear. 95% of the population learn by one of those 2 methods. Me, I'm a visual person. If you tell me something, I'm going to remember the conversation. I'm going to remember that you're wearing a pro player vest. I'm going to remember that you're nodding your head. When I start talking about neurolinguistics, you're nodding your head. You're wearing shorts and sandals. I'm going to remember that. And then by seeing the picture of you, I'm going to remember the conversation. When I hear the word for, I see this. I don't hear it. I see it. When I listen to my voice messages, I have to write them down to see them to take action. Remember in the interview I said I'll respond to emails much faster? I see it. I'm visually stimulated. And so I see it, I do it. I hear it, I got to write it down, then I got to see it, then I can do it. It's important to know. So when I'm working with Ruth, I need to know, is she going to receive the information by what she hears or by what she sees? And then how quickly? Or over what period of time does that take? And then I also know what kind of a boss she'll make. Is she somebody that should be a manager? Or is she somebody that is internally not wired to be a manager? And there's a series of questions that I ask on that. And so you guys had no idea that that's the information I was learning, did you? Not everybody interviews like I do, but some people do. I went to a job interview one time and somebody said, so how do you know you've done a good job? I said, oh, I'm an internal and I've been trained by Martin Burmack too. And the guy started laughing. He says, well, so what's the rest of your profile? So I told him, because that's how I am. Who I am is who I am. I'm not going to be somebody else. And the most important piece of advice I can give you is be yourself. If you need to stop and think about what you're going to say, do so. But wait till the interviewer has finished the question. And when I interview, I have a hard time because remember, I have to see it. So as they're talking, I'm trying to hear it and receive it. Let them finish asking the question and then respond. So, questions? Yes?
Question. You asked, there's 2 questions you asked. One has to do with her judgment on goals. One was had to do with how she knows that her goals are achieved and how does she know her co-workers, her fellow co-workers achieve their goals. What do you think about the answers to both those questions and what do you get from her answer?